welcome to the Evolution Studio Works podcast series. Today's conversation explains that data visualization is defined as the graphical representation of information through various charts, diagrams, and maps to simplify complex datasets. It emphasizes the importance of data visualization for informed decision-making, data interpretation, and visual communication across diverse fields like marketing, healthcare, and finance. The conversation also explores different types and functions of data visualizations, such as showing data over time or making comparisons. Furthermore, it highlights the benefits of using visual communication for efficiency while cautioning about potential pitfalls like misrepresentation due to poor data quality or incorrect chart choices. Let's join the conversation.
Imagine trying to navigate a brand new city, totally unfamiliar, but instead of a map, all you have is this massive spreadsheet. Street names, intersections, traffic light timings, just rows and rows of data.
Yeah, it's overwhelming.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's kind of what facing raw, complex data can feel like sometimes. So today we're doing a deep dive into something that turns that chaos into clarity. Data visualization. We've got a great stack of your sources here, all set to help us unpack this. Our mission really is to see how showing information visually can unlock insights you'd otherwise miss, help you spot patterns, trends, and, ultimately make better data-driven decisions.
And what's really interesting is just how universal this challenge is. It doesn't matter if you're in healthcare, finance, tech, or heck, just trying to understand a news story. The sheer amount of information, it can just swamp you. Data visualization, or data viz, as people often call it. It's like the bridge, right? It translates these heavy data sets or dense paragraphs into a visual language. Our brains are just wired to understand much faster. It's not just about making it smaller. It's about making it quicker to grasp.
Quicker to grasp. I like that framing.
Oh.
So, okay, when we say data visualization, we're not just talking about making pretty charts, are we? What exactly does that cover?
No. Definitely not just pretty pictures, although aesthetics can help. We're really talking about representing information using graphics. Things like charts, diagrams, plots, infographics, maps, you name it.
Right.
Think about it. Our brains are amazing at processing visual stuff. A good data viz taps into what scientists call pre-attentive processing. Basically, you can see an outlier or a big trend on a chart almost instantly. Doing that same task by just reading numbers in a spreadsheet, that could take ages. So whether it's a simple bar chart showing sales figures, or maybe a heat map showing COVID cases by region, or even a line chart from Google Trends showing search interest, it's all about making complex info immediately understandable.
That connection to how our brains work makes a lot of sense. So, okay, beyond just being easier to process, what are the core purposes, like the main practical ways people are really using data fees?
Yeah, good question. Fundamentally, it's about turning all that complex data into graphics you can actually act on. It supports, I'd say, three main things: interpreting data, making decisions, and communicating visually.
Okay.
So, for interpretation, raw data is messy. Right? It's easy to miss things or misunderstand. But turn it into, say, a line chart or a scatter plot. Suddenly you can spot patterns, trends, outliers much more easily. That helps you find insights and figure out what to do next.
Right. Seeing the pattern instead of just the numbers.
Exactly. Then there's decision making. Viz tools show findings in a way that decision makers who might be, miles away from the raw data can just get it quickly. Like a heat map clearly shows which regions are doing well and which aren't. Or a histogram shows the age breakdown of your customers. This lets organizations make choices with more confidence because they're backed by understandable data.
That makes sense. Less guesswork.
Precisely. And the third one, visual communication. Well, Harvard Business Review actually called this a must-have skill today for managers. Design-focused, data-focused, doesn't matter.
Wow, must-have.
Yeah. Because we generate so much data every day, visualizations make the analysis easier for basically everyone, not just the tech experts. It helps get whole teams on the same page, literally looking at the same picture.
Okay, those three functions, interpretation, decision-making, communication, seem really connected. So where are we seeing this in action? Like specific examples across different fields?
Oh, it's everywhere, really. Take marketing. A team looks at 6 months of website traffic on a line chart. Instantly, they see the spikes, the dips. That tells them what worked, what didn't, informs the next campaign.
Okay.
Or in healthcare, you might see corplet maps, those colored maps, showing differences in vaccination rates county by county. Super useful for public health planning.
Yeah, I've seen those.
Finance. Bank managers use bar graphs all the time to spot unusual spending, maybe track investment performance. IT teams use things called sequence diagrams to map out how different systems interact when you log in, helping them troubleshoot why it's so slow.
Oh, okay.
And data scientists, of course, use scatter plots constantly to see if there's a relationship between two different variables, helping them focus their analysis. It's incredibly versatile.
That really shows the range. And it sounds like it's not just about understanding things better, but also about being faster and more efficient. You mentioned a source, the Canva report.
Yeah, exactly. Their 2024 Visual Economy report found that 91% of leaders said visual communication makes them more efficient. That's huge.
91%.
It really is. The benefits just stack up. You spend less time digging through numbers. You can share insights much more clearly. You tell better stories with data. You get your audience more engaged. Your message lands better with stakeholders. And you build that culture of making decisions based on evidence.
Okay, sold. Data is powerful. We get the why. But now, if I'm sitting here with my own pile of information, how do I know what kind of visualization to use? What types of data are we even talking about?
That's a super important question. Because, yeah, the what and how are crucial. First step is understanding your data itself. It's not all just numbers. Generally, data falls into about four main types.
Four types, okay.
First is quantitative. This is what most people think of. Numbers, sales figures, inventory levels, temperatures, that sort of thing.
Got it. Numbers.
Second is categorical. This is non-numerical data that puts things into groups, like demographics, gender, education level, or maybe product types.
Okay.
Third is temporal. This is anything related to time. Leads per day, monthly website visits, annual growth. It has a sequence.
Time-based, right?
And fourth is spatial. This is location data, weather maps, election results by state, where your customers are clustered. Geography.
Quantitative, categorical, temporal, spatial. Okay. So how does knowing that help me choose a chart?
Well, it guides you big time. For example, if you have temporal data, things changing over time, you'll almost always want a visualization that shows that flow, like a line graph or maybe an area chart.
Makes sense. Shows the progression.
Exactly. The amount of data matters too. A table with, say, 50 rows might be okay, maybe a bit dense, but a pie chart with 50 slices, completely useless, right?
Yeah, just a rainbow mess.
Right. So you need to match the data type and the volume to the visual form.
Okay, data type is one factor. Your sources also talk about categorizing charts by their function, what they're trying to achieve. What are those main functions?
Yeah. This is about the purpose of the visual. What insight are you trying to communicate? While a single chart might do a couple of things, we usually group them by their primary goal. Common ones include showing data over time or change over time. We mentioned line graphs. Bar charts can work here too. Think website traffic month by month. Goal is spotting trends, patterns, maybe forecasting.
Right. The temporal link again.
Yep. Then there's comparison, showing differences between items or groups. Bar charts are great for this, maybe comparing sales across different products. Sometimes you see radar charts for comparing multiple features at once.
Okay, comparing things.
Relationship. This is about seeing if and how variables are connected. Scatter plots are the classic here. Do sales go up when advertising spend increases? You plot them together and look for a pattern.
Seam connections.
Proportions, showing parts of a whole. Everyone knows pie charts, but they're actually quite limited. Stacked bar charts or tree maps can often show complex proportions more effectively.
Like market share, maybe.
Exactly. Or budget breakdowns. Then there's hierarchy, showing structure, like an organization chart, or how components fit together. Think of a family tree or a system breakdown.
Org charts, got it.
And finally, distribution. This shows how your data points are spread out. Are they clustered together, spread evenly, skewed? Histograms and box plots are really good for showing the shape of your data.
So understanding the data type and the function you need helps narrow down the choices.
Precisely. It moves you from just picking a chart you like to picking the right chart for the job.
Okay, this all sounds incredibly useful, almost like a data superpower. But, you know, every superpower has its kryptonite. What are the catches, the limitations, the common mistakes people make?
Yes, the pitfalls. And this is really important. Data viz is powerful, but as one source warned, it's prone to misrepresentation, whether accidentally or intentionally. It's not foolproof.
Accidentally or intentionally.
Yeah? The biggest traps are, 1, starting with bad data. Inaccurate, incomplete, low-quality stuff. You know the saying, garbage in, garbage out. A fancy chart won't fix bad data.
Right. Foundation matters.
2, choosing the wrong type of visualization. like using that 50-slice pie chart we joked about, or trying to show a trend over time with something that doesn't handle sequence well.
Mismatch tool. Okay.
And 3, just bad design choices. Making graph 2 cluttered with junk, using confusing colors, or, and this is a big one, messing with the scale on axes to exaggerate or downplay a finding.
Yeah, I've definitely seen charts where the y-axis doesn't start at 0, making small changes look huge.
Exactly. That's a classic way to mislead. And the consequences, they're not trivial, are they?
Doesn't sound like it.
No. The sources are pretty clear. When your visualization is flawed, so are the conclusions the readers make. It makes the viz useless at best and potentially harmful at worst. Especially if major business decisions or, public health messages are based on it, it carries real responsibility.
That's a sobering thought. Okay, so how do we avoid falling into those traps? How do we make sure we pick the right viz and design it effectively?
It really has to start with purpose. Before you even touch a charting tool, step back. An HBR article had a great framework, asking 2 key questions.
Okay, what are they?
First, is your information conceptual or data-driven? Are you illustrating ideas like a process flow? Or are you plotting hard numbers? Qualitative versus quantitative, basically.
Conceptual versus data-driven.
Got it. Second, are you declaring something or exploring something? Are you presenting a finished finding, like sales increased 10%? Or are you still digging into the data yourself, looking for patterns, trying things out?
Declaring versus exploring. Okay.
Knowing the answer to those 2 questions, conceptual versus data-driven, declaring versus exploring, really helps narrow down what kind of visualization is appropriate.
That makes sense. Sets the stage. And once we know our purpose, are there universal principles for just good chart design?
Definitely. There are a few core ideas that apply pretty much everywhere. Your visualization needs to be accurate, the data have to be right, and the way you show it shouldn't distort it or push a biased view. Objectivity is key.
Accurate. Number 1.
Number 2, it should be helpful. It needs context. Use labels clearly. Use color thoughtfully to highlight what's important. Don't just dump data. It should ideally make the viewer curious, maybe encourage them to explore more.
Helpful. Make it easy to understand and engaging.
Exactly. And third, it should be scalable. Think about where people will see this. On a tiny phone screen, a huge presentation monitor. The design needs to work across different sizes. Interactive features can really help here, letting users zoom or filter complex data without getting totally overwhelmed.
Accurate, helpful, scalable. Good checklist. Now, something you touched on earlier, the audience. How much does who we're making it for matter?
Oh, tremendously. Knowing your audience is absolutely critical. You have to consider how familiar are they with this topic? What do they already know about this data? How comfortable are they generally with reading charts?
Right. Different levels of expertise.
Totally. For an audience that isn't very technical, you'll want to stick with simple, familiar visuals, bar charts, line charts, things most people get instinctively. For experts, you might be able to use more complex or specialized chart types. You have to tailor it to their understanding to make sure the message actually lands.
Tailor to the audience. Makes sense. What about simplicity versus detail? Is less always more?
It's a balance. The saying, more is not necessarily better, is definitely true in data viz. You want to avoid clutter. Only include information that actually supports the main point and keeps the user focused. You probably don't need to label every single point on a line graph, for instance. And you don't need 20 colors when 1 or 2 carefully chosen ones will do the job better.
So just cut the noise.
Cut the noise, exactly. But you can also oversimplify. If you remove too much context or aggregate data too much, you might actually create a misleading picture.
So too simple can be bad too.
It can. The key question to keep asking yourself is, what's the core insight here? Then build the visual with only the elements needed to clearly communicate that insight. Don't add bells and whistles just because you can.
Focus on the core insight. Got it. Okay, one last crucial area, accessibility. How do we make sure everyone, regardless of ability, can understand these visualizations?
Yes, hugely important. Good data viz considers accessibility from the start, especially for people with visual impairments or other sensory issues. Harvard's Digital Accessibility Services has some great guidelines.
Okay, like what?
For the overall design, simplicity helps everyone. Avoid flashy, disorienting animations. If you do use movement, provide a way to turn it off.
Right. Keep it calm.
With color, be really careful about contrast. Very low contrast is hard to see. Very bright contrast can be visually overwhelming. And crucially, never rely only on color to convey meaning.
Why not just color?
because a significant portion of the population has some form of color vision deficiency. If the only difference between two lines on your chart is that one is red and one is green, some people won't be able to tell them apart.
Okay. Good point. So what do you do instead?
Use additional visual indicators, add labels directly to the lines, use different patterns or textures in your bars or areas, use different shapes for points on a scatter plot. Give people multiple ways to distinguish the data.
Patterns, labels, shapes. Got it. Multiple cues.
Exactly. And finally, text. Always include alt text, alternative text descriptions for your visuals. This is essential for people using screen readers. It provides context about what the visual shows.
Alt text. Crucial for screen readers. Okay? Lots to think about there.
It is. But building these practices in makes your visualizations usable by so many more people.
So, wrapping this all up, we've covered the why, the what, the how, the pitfalls. What does this all mean for our listener, the learner, who's trying to navigate this information age?
Well, I think this deep dive really highlights that data visualization isn't just some niche skill for analysts anymore. It's becoming a core competency. It's a powerful tool for clarity, for finding those aha moments in data, and for making smarter decisions in pretty much any field. It can save you a massive amount of time, deepen your understanding, and make your communication way more effective, more memorable.
It really does feel like a critical skill for the future, maybe even for right now.
Absolutely. Which leads to, I guess, a final thought, or maybe a question for you, the listener, to ponder.
Okay.
Given everything we've discussed, the power of data viz to clarify complex information, but also its potential to mislead if not done carefully. How will you use these principles? How will you make sure the information you create, or even the information you consume, is not just visually appealing, but truly accurate, objective, and ultimately serves to enlighten rather than confuse?